Hello and welcome back to Fist Entertainment, this time for my review of 1982's Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. This Star Trek movie has been held is the very best Star Trek movie ever. Now, as everybody knows, I'm not everybody. Is this among one of the best Star Trek movies of all time? Yes. Is it the best Star Trek movie of all time? No. At least not to me. It'll take a long time until I get to one that I deem as the best Star Trek movie of all time. It's actually one of the Star Trek films that everybody deems as one of the worst Star Trek movies of all time. But you guys gotta understand, the way that I look at movies is different from the way you look at movies. I look out where a movie has a gothic theme, or if it's too light-headed. Is the film character-driven, or is it more excitement-driven? Is the film have a lot of story to tell? How the characters are. I look at a lot of things, but one of the things that I think really tells a story in a good way, and I always have, which is why I'm a big fan of supernatural horror, as well as suspense horror movies and thrillers and science fiction. I think it's best told when it's darker than when it's lighter. And I think that if you take time to really look at the beauty of something like that, you will agree, which is why this Star Trek movie is deemed as one of the best Star Trek films of all time. I actually like this movie a lot. It was my favorite growing up. But there is even ones, even after this one, that I like better than this one. Like, for example, I will admit this proudly right now. I like Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, more than I like Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. But is it still my... Is that one still my favorite Star Trek film of all time? No, that isn't either. But what did I like about this movie? I like the fact that even back in 1982, they realized right off the bat when they first started making Star Trek movies that revisiting the original series and bringing back characters from the 1960s TV show would be fun to play around with in the movies. And that's part of the reason why this one's so good. I love Khan. Khan is one of my favorite villains in the Star Trek series. You know, is Space Seed my favorite episode of Star Trek original series? No, not even close. Matter of fact, I would say that absolutely no episode in the first season of Star Trek deems to be anywhere near close to my favorite episode of Star Trek, the original series. But out of season 1 is probably one of the better episodes, yes. You're way up there with Arena, as well as The Evening Within, stuff like that. I would say I'm more partial to Dagger of the Mind and What Little Girls Are Made Of. But we're not reviewing Star Trek the original series here. I like the fact that this movie did something that a lot of films don't do, because there's something that people don't really know about this movie is it has two cuts to it. There's the theatrical cut, which I'm reviewing, and the director's cut, which I'll make a nod to right now. The director's cut has about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of footage that you didn't see in the theatrical cut. But what makes it so cool with this theatrical cut is that you don't need the extra stuff they cut out of the movie to get a complete picture of this movie. This is something that a lot of Hollywood people and a lot of films should actually do. If you're going to cut stuff out of a movie, don't cut so much stuff out of a movie to where the movie suffers. And that's what's so cool about this, and that's another thing I like about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I like how dark this movie is. It has a whole bunch of themes in it. Like, for example, this one actually has a horror gothic theme in it. how Khan actually gets control of the situation and wreaks havoc on the Enterprise is actually pretty more holographically driven. He actually has these parasitic creatures that pretty much, while they are growing inside your head, they pretty much turn you into a zombie. And to give you a nice definition of what a zombie really is, the real definition of a zombie is not a flesh-eating, decayed corpse. George Romero made that definition when he made Night of the Living Dead in the 1960s. The technical definition of a zombie is somebody who is either under permanent hypnosis or is, for some other means, under complete suggestive control of another permanently, to where they have no free will. That is actually what a zombie is, and Khan actually does that to Chekhov in another person in this movie, which makes it kind of more horror-gothic. So there's a lot of interesting things about this movie I like. I also like the battle sequences in this movie. This film is exciting, but yet it's not like other Star Trek films where you have a lot of stuff going on planets. This film takes place almost entirely in space, and it's very exciting. Now let's go on to the quick premise of the movie, and this one I will make quick because we're at 6 minutes and 50 seconds now. The premise of the movie is very simply this. While on a recon mission to try to find uninhabited planets to test a new kind of creation experiment on, a ship known as U.S. Defiant comes across a planet that they believe is uninhabited, to find out that Khan's colony and his survivors from the Botany Bay have actually been there, and they get captured. And of course converted into zombies. And then Khan goes on to a revenge mission to kill James T. Kirk. The Enterprise is getting new crew members and is on a trainee sort of simulation. They get called to question some confusion going on with a research station known as let's see, I forget the name of it, so we don't even know the name of it. We're trying to go fast for this synopsis. And it's all a coup, so Khan can get close to them, and then Khan tries to get revenge. A lot of people die on the Enterprise. The Enterprise almost gets destroyed. It gets repaired enough, and through Kirk's intelligence and wit, they find a way to outsmart Khan and destroy the ship. But Khan sets off this creation device, and with the Enterprise in proximity. And once this creation device does this thing, it will destroy the Enterprise and anything in its way, while creating an entirely new planet in the space that it's in. Stop this from doing so, with the warp drive not working due to all damage that the ship's taken from battles, Spock sacrifices his life by going ahead and restoring the warp core by exposing himself to insane amounts of insane amounts of nuclear radiation. Insane amounts. And we see a very, very tearful, conclusion of, I have been and always shall be your friend. With, Spock dying from radiation on one side of the barrier by Kirk on the other side. Very tearful, not tears, all that stuff. Spock dies. Then they have a funeral and send him to the newly formed planet known as the Genesis Project, which is what it's called. And then that's pretty much the end of the movie. Of course, Khan dies in the ship that he was attacking Kirk with. It was all of his disciples and stuff. Now, audio and video quality. Is this one as good as the first movie? No. What I liked about Star Trek the Motion Picture is it didn't have a nostalgic look to it. It literally looked like a crystal clear, clean fucking movie. The problem with Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan is, yes, is it a very good HD transfer? Yes, it is. Is it clean? Yes. Is it a good is it good and detailed? Yes. Is it has good resolutions in it? Is it good? Is very well restored? Yes. All that is good. It looks like they tried to keep a nostalgic look, reminiscent to making it look as much like a 1980s movie. I think that's the best way to kind of describe it through its color temperatures. It's kind of made to look like that. They did that on purpose. They made it look like it still belongs in the 1980s, while updating it to making it look like a modern movie, but it still has that nostalgic 1980s look, which is a step down from Star Trek Motion Picture, which didn't have that. It didn't look like a 1970s film, it looked like a 1980s film. It looked like a brilliant looking movie that could blow people's minds in any decade or any century. Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan, on the other hand, looks like it belongs in the 80s. So yeah, you'll be seeing some more warmer temperatures in it. You'll be seeing a little bit brighter colors in it, stuff like that. Something you would see in a 1980s movie. But the quality of the picture is very good. Audio, this has the same audio technology as Star Trek the Motion Picture, but is not used nearly as well as Star Trek Motion Picture. Now, does that say that the soundtrack's bad? No. There's still quite a bit of sound going around the room. The 7.1 Dolby True HD track is still very exciting. Lots of good dramatic stuff going on, but it's not as consistently dramatic as Star Trek Motion Picture was. And so yeah, this is a step down from Star Trek the Motion Picture from 1979, but it's still a very, very good movie. I still liked the quality of it. And this film is a very good one. I always like this one. It's just it has a lot of good stuff in it. I especially like how you, even as a grown man, you almost choke a little bit holding back an emotional outburst when you see Spock die. Now, there's actually controversy about this. It was not meant to be taken seriously, but Leonard Nimoy actually wrote a book called I Am Not Spock before this movie was made. And there was a rumor going around, I don't know who leaked it, but there's a rumor going around that Spock was going to get killed off. And that there was no talks of bringing him back at all. He was going to die, and that was going to be the end of Spock forever. There was not going to be any more Mr. Spock in Star Trek. And it made a big deal with all the fans. All the fans were furious in 1982 over that news. They were furious. But that did not stop this movie from making it big at the box office. And yes, Spock did die. Now, to this day, I'm glad that he didn't stay dead, just because of the fact that I don't know what the next Star Trek films would have been like without Spock in them. I would say that we only see Spock for, like, played by Leonard Nimoy. That is, we see a young boy a little kid in teenager version of Spock, and even a 20-something-year-old version of Spock. But we only see Leonard Nimoy play Spock at the last scene of the movie. So what's interesting is Leonard Nimoy actually directed the next one. But, yeah, there was a lot of controversy about Spock dying in this movie, and it really did make a lot of leeway. This is the first one of two to be directed by Stephen Meyer. Sorry, not Stephen Meyer. Nicholas Meyer. Yeah, Nicholas Meyer directed this one. Nicholas Meyer would return to direct another very, very, very popular Star Trek movie. That would be Star Trek VI: Undiscovered Country, which we'll get to a little much later. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie review. I will see you guys next time for my review of Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Until then.